let's get it. Look, honestly, I really don't know how to feel about this new PPP warrant list. I don't know if it's fact. I don't know if it's fake. I just know one thing: this can't be life. Like seriously, how can you come back on some shit that we have already went through? You cannot bring it back. Honestly, like how do you do this? This is not this can't be real. Like, how can you look through a list, pick out some names, and say, hey, you guys did this. You don't even know if it was really me. You don't even know if I really got that bread. You don't know how I split that bread between three people. This guy took 10. The person who did it took another 20. You don't know. So now you're going to stick me with the full list. How? How do you do this? This is not real. How do you come back 5 years later and say, yo, you owe us money? I don't owe you anything. I was poisoned. I took a vaccine that nobody knew how the vaccine worked. It made me feel itchy. My brain went wrong. How do you know? Like, you don't even know what the vaccine made me do this, man. Like, honestly, like, let's make it make sense. Like, you're just going to come back 5 years later and say, hey, I owe you money for a PPP. I don't, how much money? How much money do I owe? How much money do I owe? How much money do I give you? And then what now? What, you're gonna arrest me? You're gonna arrest people for PPP? Like, come on, man. Like, that don't make sense. Like, it really don't make sense. Like, the money's been gone. We've been spent the money. We been gave it away. We partied. We bought gifts. We bought cars. We bought jewelry. We threw it in the air in the club. We bought bottles. We stood on the couches. We did all this stuff during the pandemic because we was out of our right mind. We was poisoned by the vaccine. The vaccine is what made us take this money. It gave us mental defects that made us feel like this money was ours. And now all of a sudden you want to come back 2024 asking for money that we've already spent. The money being gone. It been left. Like, leave it alone. Go look for some other money. Go borrow money from Ukraine, Russia, China, wherever the hell you guys go borrow money from that to go pay debts. Don't come back to me. Don't come back to the people that had to suffer through this time, this pandemic, where they had to sit in the house in the dark, depressed, you know what I'm saying, in a mental state of anxiety because they don't know every cough, every sneeze. You looking at people crazy. You like, oh shit, this nigga just tried to give me pandemic. I'm putting a mask on my face. I'm doing all this foolishness. And then now you come back for the bread. What about an apology? What about that? What about saying, I'm sorry to the American people for putting you in a space to where you thought you was going to die? Where you thought every sneeze, a person could have a basic allergy, they sneeze, everybody in the building is looking at them. So now everybody afraid to sneeze. They damn near about to choke. They damn near about to choke. They can't. They trying their hardest to hold their sneeze. They gotta put their face in their shirt so they don't act like they spreading germs or spreading COVID, because you don't know. 1 minute you have COVID, the next minute you in a morgue. Now all of a sudden you want money back for the pain and suffering that you caused on us. We didn't cause this. You guys caused this. You guys gave us this pandemic. You guys gave us COVID. You guys gave us nothing to fight this pandemic except a vaccine that half the people don't know if it worked or if it don't work. Half the people took it because they was afraid of dying. And here you come 5 years later for a couple of dollars. Seriously, a couple of dollars. A warrant list for money that you ain't missing. Are you really missing that bread? You're not really missing that bread. Let's keep it real. This is just greed right now. Like, let's give the people something to worry about. That's how I feel about this situation. Because me personally, I think anybody who took any kind of money off this PPP EIL, whatever these things were called, I think they should all be pardoned. They shouldn't be looking over their back, wondering when the next time when you guys will come knock on their door over the loan that they took in 2020, and now they 5 years later gotta be worried if you finna separate them from their families. Like, is this really a thing? Like, is this really a thing? Like, does anybody in the higher ups ever think and say, look, man, we got to give these people a break? Do anybody ever just have that conversation? Is that a conversation in those buildings? Like, I want to know, like, do anybody go like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? We jacking off money in every other country. We jacking off money in Ukraine and China and Africa and Haiti, wherever the hell we jack this money off at. Now we finna come chase these people for this little bit of money that they supposedly took. Supposedly took. You don't even know if they took it for real. We're not even sure. We're not even positive. We just saying maybe. Like what do we put our foot on their necks for a couple dollars? Like, seriously? 5 years later, 8 years later, 10 years later, when does it stop? Like, when does it stop? Like, who says, okay, man, you know what, enough's enough, man. We done got every dollar back. How you gonna get every dollar back? We done spent half that money. Not half, we done spent all of it. Every dollar is gone. Not one person in the country is holding on to any PPP money. The economy is in the tanks. Inflation is sky high because y'all trying to regain this money. So now you can't regain the money. You destroy the economy. And now you say, man, fuck it. Let's lock them up. Let's lock them up. They took the money. They can't pay it back because most people can't pay it back. How they gonna pay it back on an economy that's in the gutter? How they gonna pay this back? How they gonna pay these loans back? Why don't y'all bail the American people out like we bail all these big banks and these big businesses out? They get bailed out all the time. At what point do we get bailed out? At what point do somebody says, oh, let's bail the American people out? I know at what point. When you bail them out of jail. When you bail them out of jail, like, hey, look, man, I need a couple of dollars because I'm in Skid Row right now and I'm being jammed on something that happened 5 years ago. Y'all boys patch up. Y'all boys patch up, man. Y'all patch up and get me out of here, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this later on. But let's make it make sense. Let's make it make sense. Like, just gonna lock us up. How many people y'all gonna lock up? We got that many jails. You know how many people you're gonna have to lock up behind these PPP warrant lists? You know how many names on that list? Like, how do you go down the list? Like, how do you pick the people out? Alphabetically? If your last name start with A, might be a long day coming real soon. Last name start with a Z, you just might buck. 10 years might pass. Feel me? But what do we do? How do we come back? How do we resurrect this PPP situation? This thing is supposed to be behind us. We're supposed to be moving forward. We got a so-called new president. He got all these policies he's about to put in place. And we're talking about PPP? Seriously? We're talking about PPP. In 2024, about to be 2025, we still bringing up PPP. Not a soul in America got a little bit of PPP money left. All that money's gone. It's gone. It's in the air. Let's go chase something else. Let's figure out how to put some more money in the American people. hands. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works, but I'm saying let's figure out a way for us to get some new money. Maybe tax breaks, however you guys in the higher up figure that stuff out. You know, think about it. Because locking people up ain't the answer. That's all I'm saying. Locking people up ain't the answer. Putting felonies on people ain't the answer. Especially some people that ain't never had felonies. All of a sudden, they looking at going to a federal prison or whatever prison you putting these people in, camps, maybe probation, just to, you know, saying have to pay crazy restitution. Like, I don't think that's the answer. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, and I could probably sit here and talk about this all day, but I personally don't think that's the answer. I don't think locking the American people up is the answer behind COVID relief fund, what you want to call it, misappropriations of those funds. I don't think that's the answer. I don't think we should be locking the American people up behind this. And first of all, we don't even know how you picking these people out. How you like is the names are ran through the computer randomly, and they just, if they land on your name and you get that knock on the door, you show up at somebody's job, at the church. Like, how does that work? Catch them coming out the gym? Like, how does this work? Seriously. If anybody know, please drop a line. Let me know, how does this work? Like, how do the American people who all, and I'm pretty much sure most of the American people had a little taste. Let me get a little taste. I seen they lock up a pastor took about 8 M's. Tried to buy a crib for 3 M's. I don't know about that one. So if you took 40, a 50 piece, do they lock you up? Do they give you restitution? Do they have you on the side of the highway doing community service? Picking up garbage? Like, who put these punishments together? Like, who put Trump on this picture? I thought Trump was the guy who dropped that bread off. Everybody told me Trump put money in the hood. Why they put Trump on the picture? They should have put Biden or Pelosi or whoever on that picture. And that you might be next. I don't like that. I don't like that you might be next. Because that you might be next got me feeling a certain kind of way. I ain't gonna lie. And I'm asking, how do they know? That's my main problem with this whole thing is, how do you know? Like, it's been 4 years. How you know somebody ain't fraudulently put that application together and they rep the benefits of that PPP? I'm pretty much sure that happened to a lot of people. Somebody fraudulently put together a PPP application on their name, on their business, and they rep the benefits of that PPP. Now you come, and even if they do get filed, like let's just say that happened to somebody, and after all the red tape is cleared up, they found, okay, you know what, that wasn't them. It wasn't that. It's the fact that you put their family through that. You put their family through that knock on the door. Nobody wants that knock on the door. Nobody wants to look through that peephole and see that blue windbreaker with them yellow words on it. Like, you don't want to see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? The minute you see that, you start to, oh shit, here we go. You don't want to see that. You don't want to be a part of that. And there's some people, they've been through it a couple times, so they're a little comfortable with it. But somebody who's never been through that, that's not something you want to see. They got their children in there. They got their mom in there. The anxiety, and they don't even know, like, damn, this wasn't me. Like, they got to get bonded out, whatever the situation may be. Like, to me personally, they need to just leave this alone. That's just my take on it. Like, leave it alone. Like, let's start moving forward. Like, how do we move forward from this? How do we move forward from the pandemic? How do we move forward from these vaccines and this COVID thing? Like, how do we move forward? I think revisiting this is moving us, it's going backwards. It's going backwards. It's chasing something that's not there because these people can't afford to either get an attorney, bond out, and even worse, pay that loan back. I think all them loans should be forgiven. That's just me personally. I think every single one of those loans should be forgiven, from EDIL to PPP to whatever the SBA gave out. All those loans in that time frame, if you got those loans within that time frame, should be wiped out. And say, look, let's press the reset button and let's see how we can move forward from this. Let's put this behind us. How do we move this country forward in a direction to where we can now start to purchase homes, invest in businesses, invest in your future, your children's schooling? How do we move forward from this? We keep bringing it back up. We keep bringing it back up. Somebody in the White House or in Congress or one of your councilmen, somebody needs to step in and say, yo, enough is enough. Enough of putting the American people through this foolishness. We're not getting this money back. We just not. We're not getting the money back. And locking people up is still not going to get the money back. It's just putting more stress on the taxpayer. That's all it's doing, is putting more stress on our American taxpayers. So why are we keep revisiting old nonsense? And you feel me? Like, why are we keep revisiting this? Let's move away from it. Hopefully somebody hear me and say, hey, man, this guy might have a point here, man. Like, we keep revisiting PPP and these loans. And, man, come on. Come on. Y'all know how I feel. Let's make it make sense. This is Hound versus everybody, man. Y'all log in. Y'all check out for the next episode. I'm out.